second half of this year. So
more specific.
I think what you saw on stage looks pretty good, but we want to make sure it's perfect and people have a really good consumer experience with it. I'm sorry, the second question?
Will you have to buy a device with the Android already on, or are you going to be able, if you have a smartphone, can you retrofit?
Right. I mean, just for clarity, I'll go back a little bit. So this has been development in partnership with the OHA partners. There's 34, now 40 partners. The software will be open source when the first handsets are available. So that means this year, second half of this year, the software gets open source. Then people can do with it pretty much whatever they want. It's open source software under the Apache license. So we don't dictate how it's used. Somebody might be able to do what you speak about.
Carl Howe from Yankees. That really struck me was that clearly you made a lot of use of the touch capabilities of that particular platform. But Android, of course, is extensible to all kinds of other different types of platforms. Do you want to comment a little bit about, you were just showing off the most flashy parts, or just a little bit how you made those choices? At least one Canadian company might think that was a controversial choice.
Thank you. The platform itself is, as you mentioned, designed to be very generic, right? It has to work with touchscreen devices. It has to work with D-pad devices. It has to work with trackball devices. Some devices might not even have a screen. So the platform is built generically. What we chose to show was a single device from a single OEM that happened to have a touchscreen. There's other OEMs working on devices that are just trackball driven. Steve could have given that exact demo, completely driven by the trackball, which is pretty compelling because not a lot of platforms have that flexibility.
Something like a touch screen? Could you give detail?
Sure, I can give you a little bit of detail. The specific OEM who built that hardware, we're under NDA with them, so I can't make an announcement on their behalf. But I can give you a little bit of detail about the components that were in that handset. So that handset was driven, it's a UMTS handset. The demo was on HSDPA at 3.6 megabits. It was a Qualcomm MSM 7201A processor. It had a Synaptics capacitive touchscreen. And Steve, how much memory did we have? 128 of RAM and how much of flash? Okay, so 256 for flash. When we announced the product and soon after we posted some videos, some of our partners demoed the platform at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in March. This is kind of the most recent stuff. Literally, the finishing touches were put on the demo last night before he came up on stage. The clock, for example, didn't exist last night.
So could you tell us what the first stuff, what is first?
Or
what isn't first if everything...
I don't know how much detail we want to go into. And I'm not even sure if I'm right here, so you might want to fact check this a little bit. The notifications, I think we hadn't shown before. The desktop-like launcher of applications where you can put aliases and icons on the desktop and the user can get a spatial representation of their workflow. That was new. The compass and accelerometer-based Street View was a new application. The unlock mechanism that letting the user, letting the device learn the user's gesture to unlock it for security and sleep purposes. And then Pac-Man was the first time we showed Pac-Man.
That's only available on the touch screen.
I'm sorry?
Unlock gesture.
I'm sorry?
The unlock, this is a stupid question, but the unlock gesture would only be available on the touch screen.
I mean, you could select each one of those little circles with the trackball and to do it as well. It might make more sense on a touchscreen.
Could someone talk a little bit about